Yesterday, General Soleimani, the head of the Qud division, QUD, of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, made certain that 6 ICBM missiles were shot 360 miles in from Iran into northern and eastern Syria, 30 miles away from our special forces. Written on those missiles were "Vanquish America, vanquish Iran, Saudi Arabia, vanquish Israel." What it means is very simple. Rouhani and Soleimani are very sophisticated leaders. They are not radicals. These are not people who believe in extremism. However, Soleimani is a formidable general. When we invaded Iraq, thanks to our poor intelligence and our ineffectual leaders like John Bolton, Steve Hadley, Cheney, Bush, our military went into a false sense of hope that they could eventually stabilize Iraq and get rid of a so-called terrorist or leader Saddam Hussein. That, of course, was nonsense. The intelligence was nonsense, the war was nonsense, and in turn what happened, what was not nonsense, 3,000 Americans died, in part because Soleimani had his Iranian forces, which killed our American soldiers. At the same time, Soleimani's warning our generals, and particularly General Mattis, do not engage in a war with me, Soleimani. Do not engage in a war with Nasrallah of Hezzbolah. And that means that he will totally devastate our American soldiers. I, as an American who has worked for our country but went in on a private citizen, went into Iran, spent many weeks on my own, by myself, learned quite a lot about Iran. First of all, it is a nation state. Secondly, it has rule of law. You may not like it, but it is a rule of law. Thirdly, they are very efficient in what they do. They're very effective in business. So, then the next place I went in was Lebanon, where I spent time in southern Lebanon and met many of the leaders of Hezzbolah, not Nasrallah, but other leaders. And I understood that if Israel were to attack Lebanon again, Bibi would find himself in another defeat outside of the one he experienced in 2006. So those rockets are a reminder to the American public and our American generals that, number one, we're not all that great in military situations. Number two, as much as the Mad Dog might think he's a great strategist, you're not really all that great compared to Soleimani and those who spent years in the deserts vanquishing Afghanis, Sunnis, Shiites, and any other individuals who he might have seen as opponents. He is warning us in a very simple way: do not send our soldiers across the border, do not engage us, Iran, in any type of conflict, and cease and desist. This is also directed to Saudi Arabia, where the king Al-Salman is a total coward, ineffectual, and tried a military coup which is not going to last very long. It is also directed to Bibi Netanyahu, who said very clearly that he thinks that he can defeat Iran because they have nuclear power. Well, Israel has nuclear power, and it's never revealed to anybody what their capability is. Would I trust Iran over Israel? Yes. For the most part, Iran isn't looking for a war. For the most part, Iran could have devastated anyone they wanted beforehand without nuclear power. I don't trust Bibi. Neither does the Israeli people. They've said he's corrupt, he's a liar, and he's a coward. Other than that, that's the real situation. So what do we have on the ground? We have a situation which is conducive to a war, but is something that we should not engage in. Nasrallah, who is the surrogate for Soleimani, is also quite formidable, as Bibi found out. Let me quote to you the most important individual in our administration, Donald Trump, who said the following: "The Iranians and Persians have been the greatest negotiators in all of time." I caution you all to listen to him. Thank you and goodbye.